South Korea's relentless heat is tightening its grip, with the highest level heat warnings expanding across the capital region for the first time and forcing the suspension of professional baseball games. The Lee Jae-myung administration has unveiled the diplomatic and security priorities for the second half of the year, calling for nuclear-powered submarines, the transfer of a wartime operational control, and renewed dialogue with North Korea. U.S. President Donald Trump says the Strait of Hormuz could reopen soon, while warning Iran it faces a very powerful attack if it refuses to cooperate. Our top story tonight, South Korea's relentless heat wave is turning deadly. The death toll has reached 21, and the unprecedented heat has even halted professional baseball games for the first time. Park Jun-an starts us off.
As of 4 p.m. Wednesday, the Korean Meteorological Administration has expanded its highest-level heat wave warning, serious heat wave warning, to cover 62.5% of the greater Seoul area. A severe heat wave warning is issued when an area's daily maximum feels-like temperature has reached 35 degrees Celsius or higher for at least 2 consecutive days. After that, the warning is issued if either the daily maximum feels-like temperature reaches 38 degrees Celsius or higher, or the daily maximum temperature reaches 39 degrees Celsius or higher. It's only been a few minutes since I stepped outside, but as you can see, I'm already starting to sweat. If I had to describe this weather in one word, I'd say exhausting. On Tuesday, unofficial temperature readings in Seoul districts including Gangnam-gu and Guro-gu even topped 39 degrees Celsius. According to the Korea Meteorological Administration's report, this past July recorded the highest average minimum temperature on record at 23.4 degrees Celsius. The nation also experienced an average of 9.7 tropical nights, during which temperatures do not fall below 25 degrees Celsius. That easily surpassed the previous record set in 2024. The prolonged heat is taking a growing toll on public health. According to the Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency, the estimated death toll this year has risen to 21. The estimated number of heat-related illnesses has also climbed to 2,441 nationwide. The scorching weather has also disrupted professional sports. To protect the players and spectators, the Korea Baseball Organization announced that for the very first time, it will cancel all first and second team games on Wednesday and Thursday until comprehensive measures are put in place. With dangerously intense heat wave expected to continue, health officials are strongly urging people to stay hydrated, avoid prolonged outdoor activities, and seek immediate medical attention if signs of heat exhaustion appear. Park Jun-an, Arirang News.
And as the unabated heat grips the capital, Seoul is strengthening its response to protect residents from the extreme temperatures. Shin So-won has more.
With temperatures reaching 39 degrees Celsius across much of Seoul, the highest level heat alert has been in place since Tuesday, while the heat island effect traps heat between buildings and asphalt. In response, the local governments converted around 4,000 community centers and senior citizen centers into cooling shelters, providing residents with free air-conditioned spaces.
The temperature outside of this community center is 36 degrees Celsius. But inside the cooling shelters, the temperature can come down to 27 degrees Celsius. For residents vulnerable to extreme heat, these shelters can provide them a chance to cool off before heat exhaustion becomes a medical emergency.
Listed on the Seoul Metropolitan Government's website and open for unlimited visits. Cooling shelters also serve as a shared ground that infuses community spirit.
This center has served local seniors for more than 40 years, but anyone, not just members, can come in and take a break from the heat.
The National Disaster Management Research Institute says heat-related illnesses at home more than double during extreme heat, especially among elderly and low-income residents who lack regular health checkups.
If heat-related symptoms appear, you may not be able to respond on your own. So when outdoor activity is unavoidable, make sure you are with someone rather than alone.
Non-profit organizations such as the Buddhist-affiliated Wongaksa also provide relief from the heat, serving free meals that help residents regain their strength.
Preparing these meals is deeply rewarding for us. We serve simple, traditional home-style food, just like the meals people used to eat at home.
Founded in 1993, the center operates a year-round without a single day off, providing a daily meal to about 250 to 300 people.
I come here 3 or 4 times a week. Eating out is too expensive, so this free meal helps me save around 12 to 13,000 won each time.
For workers who usually consume caffeine, its diuretic effect can accelerate dehydration by causing the body to lose more fluid. To help offset that risk, free bottled water is handed out to pedestrians across the city. Experts say headaches and fatigues are among the earliest signs of heat-related illness, advising people to avoid unnecessary outdoor activity between noon and 5 p.m. when temperatures are typically at their highest. 신소은, Arirang News.
President Lee Jae-myung presided over briefings earlier today, and one session was on the foreign policy and national security, with relevant ministers like Foreign Affairs, Defense and Unification delivering briefings. The president also took time to share his thoughts on their policies. For more on this, we have our Kim Do-yeon in the studio. Welcome back, Do-yeon.
Good to be here.
So, Do-yeon, let's start with the overall diplomatic policy strategy and what the president emphasized.
Right now, the administration's core thesis is that sustainable economic growth is impossible without regional stability, and President Lee framed geopolitical security directly as an economic necessity during the briefing. Take a listen.
우리 대한민국의 대도약 그리고 지속적인 성장, 거기다 국민들의 더 나은 삶을 위해서는 한반도의 평화와 안정이 가장 중요합니다.
To lock in that stability, Foreign Minister Cho Hyun emphasized the importance of multilateral summits and the network that Seoul can build. For example, G7 Plus and NATO have provided platforms for Seoul to make stronger presence in the global scene. He also emphasized the ROK-US alliance and announced that Seoul will accelerate talks with Washington on acquiring nuclear-powered submarines, offering strategic cooperation in commercial shipbuilding and naval maintenance as key leverage.
We will accelerate consultations to secure the requirements for building nuclear-powered submarines and create conditions for uranium enrichment and reprocessing while developing the ROK-US alliance in a future-oriented manner through strategic sectors like shipbuilding.
The ministry is also coordinating closely with Washington on trade and economic issues to ensure these strategic negotiations yield mutually beneficial outcomes.
Then turning to defense, Do-yeon, President Lee also took a firm stance on military command. What's the actual timeline for the defense ministry's regaining of a wartime operational control?
Right. President Lee explicitly tied the return of OPCON to national sovereignty, arguing that a state unable to command its own forces in wartime remains incomplete. First, take a listen.
어떤 외부의 도움도 없이 우리 스스로의 힘으로 지켜나가는 자주 국방은 우리의 가장 큰 과제다. 그리고 당연히 주권의 일부인 군 지휘권도 스스로 행사해야 되겠죠. 당연히.
Following that directive, Defense Minister An Gyu-baek outlined a fast-track timeline for the transfer and completing the full operational capability verification.
In the second half of the year, we will swiftly complete the roadmap, and once the full operational capability verification is completed, we will push forward with speed, including proposing the timing for the OPCON return.
The transfer hinges on 3 conditions: the military capability to lead combined defense operations, a comprehensive alliance response to North Korean nuclear and missile threats, and a stable regional security environment. To complete the verification, the military must meet the required standards for the first 2 capability conditions. The government anticipates conducting partial assessments for these requirements during the during this month's Ulti Freedom Shield joint exercises. Once cleared, Seoul intends to officially submit its proposed transfer timeline at the annual security consultative meeting later this year.
And finally, on inter-Korean relations, with the communication currently frozen, how does the Unification Ministry plan to break the deadlock?
Right, so President Lee strictly ordered officials to maintain a policy of engagement despite Pyongyang's lack of response, warning that abandoning dialogue ultimately harms national interests.
근데 그건 결국 국민들한테는 나쁘죠. 국가 공동체에게는 해악이죠. 그래서 힘들긴 하지만 우리가 평화와 공존의 정책을 계속해 나가야 되겠다.
To build momentum, Unification Minister Chung Dong-young outlined a multilateral roadmap to re-engage North Korea.
It is necessary to propose initiating discussions on a peace regime for the Korean Peninsula at the UN General Assembly in September, and to expand those discussions using APEC in November as a catalyst.
The strategy centers on internationalizing the issue. Seoul will introduce the peace framework at the UN in September before leveraging the APEC summit in November in China to launch a four-party peace process actively involving China. The ministry is currently aiming for an inter-Korean summit during the first half of the president's term, which would be by the end of 2027.
Right. I see. Toyon, thank you for the coverage.
My pleasure.
U.S. President Donald Trump says a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz may be close, but warns Iran of a very powerful attack if talks collapse. Our foreign affairs correspondent Oh Soo-young reports.
U.S. President Donald Trump says the Strait of Hormuz will reopen soon, warning Iran could otherwise face what he called a very powerful attack. Speaking to Fox News on Tuesday local time, Trump said the United States was having very good discussions with Iran and claimed Tehran was eager for an agreement after months of conflict. But he added that the only thing that matters is action, saying Washington would wait to see what happens. His remarks came as officials on both sides signaled progress towards reopening the strategic waterway. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Tuesday that Washington was involved in talks between Iran and Oman aimed at allowing more vessels to pass safely through the waterway.
I think that there's a conversation and a negotiation that we are involved in between Oman and Iran on how more ships can be able to go through there safely in the short term as we move towards these longer term talks about denuclearization. And suffice it to say, there's been progress made in those talks, but not finality yet. We're hoping that will happen very shortly.
While Rubio was cautious to stress no final agreement had yet been reached, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was more optimistic. Bessent said an agreement could come as early as Tuesday or Wednesday to allow vessels to travel freely through the strait. But he did not directly answer whether Iran would be permitted to charge ships a passage. Tehran, meanwhile, maintains that it is negotiating with Oman, not directly with the United States, but said Tuesday that the talks were positive and ongoing. The strait remains largely blocked following the outbreak of the US-Israeli war with Iran in late February. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
The White House has sent to Congress a priority bill that would allow the U.S. Navy to build ships at foreign shipyards, potentially paving the way for expanded shipbuilding cooperation with South Korea. Cha Yoon-kyung has this report.
The White House submitted a proposal to Congress in July requesting authority for the U.S. Navy to build 2 surface combatants and 2 non-combat auxiliary vessels in foreign shipyards. In a statement of administration policy sent to the House of Representatives on July 21st, the Office of Management and Budget highlighted the initiative, urging lawmakers to oppose restrictions in the fiscal 2027 National Defense Authorization Act that would block foreign warship construction. The White House expects that constructing U.S. Navy vessels in foreign shipyards will resolve severe domestic shipyard backlogs while driving direct foreign investment back into American facilities. In its policy statement, the OMB cited the Finland model, an approach where the U.S. rapidly acquires vessels from allied foreign shipyards and transfers technology and production back home to revitalize its industrial base. Eyes are now on South Korea after U.S. President Donald Trump highlighted Korean shipbuilders for cooperation as his administration seeks overseas-built vessels. With South Korea stepping up efforts to support U.S. naval modernization, Korean shipbuilders are widely viewed as prime candidates for the partnership. However, the proposal faces a tough battle on Capitol Hill. Current federal law strictly mandates that U.S. Navy vessels be built in domestic shipyards to protect national security and preserve American jobs. With lawmakers pushing back against foreign procurement, the showdown between Congress and the White House is expected to become a major flashpoint in defense policy. Cha Yoon-kyung, Arirang News.
In other news, the South Korean currency is drawing fresh attention after U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent highlighted its recent volatility alongside the yen. Kim Bo-kyung has the details.
While underscoring the importance of a stable yen, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on Tuesday pointed to the South Korean won's excessive volatility. The remarks came during an interview with CNBC following a joint intervention by Washington and Tokyo in the foreign exchange market last week to support the yen. He said that the yen's stability matters for the entire region given Japan's role in global trade, the size of its economy, and its contribution to global savings. He also warned that prolonged weakness in the Japanese currency could spill over into neighboring economies, citing excessive volatility in the Korean won. In fact, the won has largely moved in tandem with the yen in recent years, though with even greater volatility. The won depreciated 12.5% against the dollar in 2024, exceeding the yen's 10.6% decline over the same period. This year, while the yen fell 2% against the dollar, the won declined 4.6% in May, and in June, the yen rebounded 3.8%, while the won weakened 7.1%. Bessent's remarks suggest that the U.S. administration believes the won should return to a more stable path, potentially giving South Korean authorities greater room to take proactive steps to stabilize the foreign exchange market. One expert, however, does say that even if the authorities intervene, there wouldn't be much change.
Even if Korea tried to intervene in the foreign exchange market, the problem is most of the fundamental movement in the currency flows were due to stock markets and firms' fears about future dollar rates and possible investment in the United States. So even if the foreign exchange currency authorities tried to intervene in the dollar-won market, it probably wouldn't have done much good.
The same expert added that it remains to be seen whether Bessent will follow up with concrete measures to help stabilize the won. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
Now, Wall Street is doubling down on South Korea's memory chip makers as a booming AI demand drives the next wave of advanced memory technology. Baek Joo-hee has more.
At least 6 major Wall Street firms, including Bank of America and UBS, have recently initiated coverage on SK hynix ADRs with buy or overweight investment ratings. Bank of America highlighted that robust demand from U.S. tech giants, leadership in advanced memory, and soaring AI infrastructure spending are setting the stage for supercycle level earnings. Rosenblatt Securities set a price target of $320, implying over 120% upside for Monday's close. Boosted by the bullish momentum, SK hynix ADRs closed up 8.17% at $154.38 in New York on Tuesday. Along with market optimism, major tech updates were unveiled in Silicon Valley. Samsung Electronics showcased its next-generation memory solutions at the Future of Memory and Storage 2026 conference on Tuesday local time. Samsung unveiled its 3D ZHBM architecture, which stacks memory directly on top of AI accelerators rather than side by side. By minimizing data travel distance, ZHBM delivers up to 8 times the performance and triple the energy efficiency compared to upcoming HBM5 standards. Samsung also introduced Z-Nando for on-device AI, matching DRAM server speeds at 1/6 the cost. Alongside this, it unveiled the industry's first 400-layer 10th generation VNAND, boosting storage density by 58%. These technical strides align with positive long-term market projections. On Tuesday, an analyst from market research firm Seoul Group projected that Korea will maintain its undisputed memory dominance through at least 2031, supported by aggressive corporate investments and government plans to double wafer capacity. Market analysts report that as the industry shifts into AI 2.0 centered on inference, memory development cycles have shrunk from 18 months to 12. This faster pace, combined with big tech's push for custom AI chips, is expected to loosen NVIDIA's dominance, creating new growth opportunities for agile Korean suppliers. Baek Ju-hee, Arirang News.
As of May this year, the number of employed older adults in South Korea has surpassed 10 million for the first time since statistics were first compiled. According to the Ministry of Data and Statistics on Wednesday, the working population of people aged 55 to 79 has reached 10,125,000 people, reflecting a 50% increase over the past decade. Now, 7 out of 10 older adults expressed a desire to continue working on average until age 73, citing living expenses and the joy of working as their primary motivations. South Korea's medical tourism industry is expanding beyond K-beauty, with the traditional Korean medicine emerging as a major draw for overseas visitors seeking holistic care. Hong Seo-jung tells us more.
Eyes covered and completely relaxed, foreign visitors experience automated acupressure beds, a modern take on traditional Korean meridian massage to boost circulation. Nearby, guests try automated hand massages using camellia oil-infused herbal masks.
It's not like a one-size-fits-all, which sometimes I feel like in America that's kind of how it is. So I really appreciate how personalized it is.
These experiences are part of a wellness program run by the K-Medicenter, an organization dedicated to promoting traditional Korean medicine.
Recently, thanks to its appearance on Netflix's K-pop Demon Hunters, interest in our center has surged, bringing in more visitors from around the world.
In a traditional pavilion, tourists soak their feet in warm water infused with seasonal medicinal herbs like chrysanthemum.
I feel like they have a lot of evidence suggesting that the Korean practices here lead to strong health outcomes, so relaxing.
Long known for cosmetic procedures, Korean medical tourism is expanding into traditional medicine, offering international visitors a uniquely holistic approach to wellness. As interest in traditional Korean medicine grows, more people are experiencing treatments like acupuncture or skin therapy firsthand. Following a thorough consultation and diagnosis, patients receive acupuncture therapy and facial treatments infused with traditional herbal ingredients.
Unlike conventional skin boosters, this formula incorporates traditional Korean medicine. We transformed Hwangnyeon Haedoktang, a classic herbal remedy, into a modern cosmetic treatment.
As a result, foreign tourists are expanding their beauty itineraries, visiting not just conventional dermatology clinics, but traditional Korean medicine clinics for advanced skincare.
Korea is very good for their health technology, and then also for the skincare treatments and everything. So that's why I want to try for this one, for like the traditional one.
Combining affordability with proven effectiveness, K-medical tourism continues to rise in popularity, with traditional Korean medicine expected to become a key global draw. Hong Seo-jung, Arirang News.
All of Seoul is now under a severe heat wave warning, the highest level in the nation. Easterly winds are crossing the Taebaek Mountains, and as that air comes down the western side, heat wave warnings now cover almost the entire western side of the country. And we're not getting much of a break after sunset either, so please take the heat seriously day and night. For now, one of the biggest wildcards for our heat wave is Typhoon Dolphin. If it continues on its current track, it's likely to move west and head towards southern China next week. But depending on exactly where it goes, it could actually intensify our heat rather than cool things down. So we'll definitely want to keep watching this one. Tomorrow, Seoul will start the day at 27 degrees, Daejeon 25 and Daegu 26 degrees. Then by the afternoon, Seoul will get up to 39 degrees, Daegu 36 and Busan 33 degrees. As this intense heat continues throughout the week, please stay hydrated and watch out for signs of heat-related illness. Now here's a look at the weather around the world.
That is all we have for tonight. I'm Kim Dami. From all of us here at Arirang, thanks for watching and good night.